everyone, good day. Terilee Harrison here with Supporting Speakers Live, and I have a very special guest as always, but I only ask the most specialist guests to be part of this amazing live stream to serve all my speaker friends. Today I want you to meet Jennie Eriksen, and she's co-founder of Eventraptor and more. So welcome, Jennie. Great to have you with me.
Thank you. Lovely to be with you, Terilee. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here because I really believe that you are just as passionate about speakers as I am and helping them be able to get their message out to the world. Isn't that the truth?
Hugely, absolutely. We've been very much speaking recently about visibility, and when people say, "Oh, I'm the best kept secret," my three letter answer to that is why. Why? If you have something to speak about, to share, to impart your wisdom, something that could literally change the trajectory of somebody's life, why wouldn't you go and speak about it? So absolutely with you there.
So the truth is, if anyone's feeling like a secret agent, Jennie and I are here to help in different ways. so
we
that's for
complement
sure.
each other.
That's for sure.
Sure.
Let me go ahead and I'll introduce you more formally to my people, Jennie. So we know Jennie is co-founder of Eventraptor, and I know before this is all over, y'all will find out more about that. It is a virtual event management system designed to simplify running global virtual events. Jennie's on a mission to help clients reach a global audience with their message, knowledge, and wisdom, and to help speakers find more opportunities to speak and those event hosts more speakers for their platforms. She has been doing professional voiceovers for over a decade, and she's had the privilege of working with clients in over 60 plus countries virtually. Wow, Jennie, that's amazing. So as a networker for over the past 2 decades, she is all about global connection, communication, and continued conversations. Those are her passions. So I am very excited to talk to you about one of my favorite things, and that is networking for speakers. So are you ready to dive in and share some of your amazing wisdom with us?
Ready when you are. Ask away, and I will tell you whatever you would like to know.
I think that's great. I love some of the strategies that Jennie has to share with you all. And one of the first ones I think is so important. And so the first one is to be succinct. And oh my gosh, if we're not succinct, it's bad news. So talk to us a little bit more about the importance of being succinct.
Well, as you quite rightly say, I've been going to networking meetings now for probably actually nearly 25 years, in person and virtually. And of course, now we have the huge privilege of being able to network globally, to reach, literally press a button and be able to speak to people globally. And, the foundations of networking haven't actually changed. They are still about a message that lands and resonates with people, building strong foundations, relationships, continued conversations. But one of the things I would love people to know, which actually hasn't changed in the last 20 odd years, is often people don't know what they're going to be attending. So for me, the key is when you go to an event, what is your opportunity to speak? How long are you going to get to speak for? And tailor your message according to the time you're going to get to speak. So, if there's only a short, succinct opportunity to do a 1-minute message, then something that's 2 pages long that you've been going through is not going to fly. So be responsible and figure out what it is you get the opportunity to share when you go to a meeting. And literally our message can be like building blocks. It's a little bit like Lego. Lego's a worldwide thing. Look at your blocks, and if you only have 1 minute, you can say this. If there's 2 minutes, you can say that. Maybe there's a 5-minute opportunity, you can add that and that. Maybe you're going to get the opportunity to be the guest speaker. Hey, we have a speaker slot for 10 minutes. Could you tell us about your business? Cherry pick what you're using according to your time. And, I can tell you as a voiceover, because voiceover ties in so nicely with this. When people talk for a minute, they think, oh, that's about a page's worth of speaking. It's about 150 words, which for most people is shocking, because on a page, it's about that much. And so lots of people will say, I can't tell everybody what I do in a minute or 150 words. You're absolutely right. You can't. What you're doing is giving people a snapshot of what it is you do. You're telling people things that pique their interest, that make them lean in and listen and look at you and think, oh, I just want to carry on talking to you. And the reason 150 words, if you're playing about with your message, is a good ballpark is because as people, that's what we're wired. That's a good tempo for us to hear, if you like, what somebody is saying. If you think about when we watch the news, that's about 180 words a minute, because we're only listening in for keywords that interest us, you know, Mr. Biden, the world, Brexit, whatever. And we tune in and we listen. And even though we can speak faster than that, because lots of people have said to me, well, I couldn't speak faster than that. Nobody wants to be in the room with the word vomiter, the person that literally you see them take that big intake of breath and you think, here it comes. And they speak at you at breakneck speed and they think, oh, well, I've got everything in a minute. But what you didn't do is get people's attention, because you were so busy on getting everything in like a big sausage machine. We didn't hear all those nuggets that we needed to make those connections with you. So less is more, slower is better. Better to say, give some salient points that make people go, I have to know more, because that just scratched the surface. So I hope that helps.
It was amazing. I love it. It's so true. I was just chatting with someone right before our live stream, and the person said, I just don't know how to narrow down what I do into 1 minute. And I said, but you have to, and it's worth taking the time. And if you need to even invest in getting help in doing it, it's worth it, because when you show up, you want people to say, oh, I need to talk to her. I need to talk to him. Right. And then, or I've been looking for you. So I love it. I love it. Exactly. So important. How we show up in our first impression is everything. So thank you for that, Jennie.
It is. And when your message lands with people, when you have a message that works, you get, and this is important for speakers, you get that congruency, because what comes out of your mouth works for you. And it is, you know, we all have to craft our own unique message that works for us, but then your body language kicks in as well. And as the French call it, it's a wonderful term, the je ne sais quoi. What comes out of your mouth and your body language follows. And it's so appealing that people naturally want to reach out and know more, because there's something about you, because that's what je ne sais quoi. There's something about them. I have to know more. And even though your brain's going, well, what are we doing? You just become appealing. You're like a magnet.
I love that. That's something for all speakers. We would love to be like a magnet. I love that analogy, Jennie. That's amazing. So as we move into your second strategy, I love it, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. It is don't hog the stage. So I'm so curious. What you'd like to share with that strategy.
In terms of being a good networker, the idea of being a good networker is the ebb and the flow. You know, you want to be, especially if you're in a situation with breakout rooms, people go, oh, I'm in with you. That's great, because you're not going to, as we mentioned before, word vomit all over me. And, you know, there are times when people, you'll see somebody as a timekeeper, and some poor soul everybody's got a minute or 2 minutes, and then the time is up and they're looking at they're doing the thing, and somebody's still going, and you're going to be known for all the wrong reasons. And, you know, we get visual cues from people, even micro expressions, that when you end up in a room with that person that dominates the room, I'll go first, or, oh, there's no time left to listen to you. And everybody's thinking, well, that's because you just carried on. Be the person that people want to know, because you can succinctly say what you want to say, but you're also a fair person in that situation. You know, you give everybody the opportunity to listen, and you actively listen. You know, that's super, super important. We're so focused often on speaking. It's nearly my turn. If they went, then you have to actively listen. This is an ebb and flow process. It is about the speaking, but as we know, speaking and listening are super important skills, because there are things that you can pick up on the room from somebody else, that you might be saying something and think, actually, I could just craft that a little differently, because from what I've heard from the 5 people that went before me, there's a theme there, and that's something I talk about or I address in my work. So the active listening is super, super important, but be the person that's known for the right reasons. So when I'm in a room with them, I always get what they say. They're always a team player, rather than, I've got to go back to the main room, because and then, you know, in the main room, they're going to go, if I end up with that person again. And, you know, over the decades I've been at networking meetings, I've seen that even in person, when somebody sits next to somebody, you think, oh, I've just got to go and sit over there, and you think that's because you don't want to be next to them. You don't want to be that person. So
That is so important. So I like the idea of don't hog the stage. And it also, I'm sure you agree, it also flows into when we're going to do one-on-ones with people outside of the meetings, right? We don't want to hog that time either. I had someone just ask me this week about is how are one-on-ones supposed to go? How are, are we supposed to split the time or what? Because they find so many people just show up and just talk about themselves and they never ask about the other person. And so this goes across the board in all our networking, whether it is in a breakout room or after when you're chatting with people. And I know you agree with that. We want to give people equal time.
Absolutely. When you are seen as a team player and somebody that works with the ebb and flow, so you then, you can have one-to-ones with people afterwards and you may not be a good fit to work with. And that's not always why we have one-to-ones. We, of course, want to get to know people better, but often we can be an amazing conduit or a connector or whatever. And it's good to be known for those reasons rather than the bad reasons. Or when you reach out and say, hey, you can have a one-to-one with you, people are going, well, no. I think I had the one-to-one with you when we went to that networking meeting because it was just you talking and nobody else got a word in edgeways. I know it all. So yeah, be known for the right reasons, for sure.
That's it. Be known for the right reasons. And then we're going to move into your third strategy, which is so key because without it, there's nothing there. And that's you must follow up.
Yeah, absolutely. As networking is a process. I still, after all these years, I'm in contact with people that I met right in the early days when I turned up to physical networking meetings and, for example, went to a women's networking meeting where we all stood together and looked at the menu and what are you having and all this. And fast forward, these are firm friends of mine from yesteryear. The process is the same, though. It's about establishing relationships, and networking is not about I'm going to sell my stuff. Here's my thing. I'm going to talk about my thing and do my thing. And it's all about me. And people who are here are, going to want my thing because I'm brilliant or my product is brilliant. Networking is all about relationships. It's to go in the first instance to actively listen. And when I say that to people, they say, but I'm going to talk about my stuff and I'm paying to go to this networking meeting. Why am I listening? It's about trusting the process because you are building relationships. Invariably, the people in that room are not your clients. They are your conduits. They are your connectors. People are not going to open their trusted little black book or whatever we call it now, the virtual Rolodex, if they just meet you for the first time. It's about a relationship and it's about what you can do to help other people. And often you'll meet people with no other reason than just to find out a little bit more about their world. But the amount of times I have met with people who don't do what I do, their world is not my world, and they have introduced me and us to some of our best long-term wonderful clients. And there is the flow, there is that reciprocity, trusting the process of the reciprocity. But if you go with, well, I'm going to address the room and they're all going to love me and it's all about me, you're missing an amazing opportunity. And again, it ties in with the first 2 points of people looking forward to seeing you because that's somebody you need to know, because they're always so generous with their time, their thoughts, their energy, their whatever. And whilst we look at that and we think, oh, that doesn't keep the lights on in our home, actually it does, because further down the line, in terms of the ripple effect, it really does.
It's so true. It's so true. Sometimes I meet people, Jennie, and I'm like, man, I can see the possibilities from the beginning opening of a conversation. And I think the one thing about our relationships, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that good relationships take time. We can maybe see the possibilities, but we shouldn't rush from a first date into marriage right away. If we will let things just evolve as they need to, and take a step and evaluate, and then maybe take another step in ways that we can collaborate, great things can come over time. But it's going to take all these things that we've talked about, whether it's not hogging the stage, whether it's being succinct and making sure that we do our follow-up. So I love these tips that you've been giving. Is there anything regarding the tips you'd like to say just to top it off? Anything special on networking and speaking you'd like to share?
Well, it's funny you should say that, going straight into marriage. I literally had that conversation with somebody this morning who, for the wrong reasons, somebody I connected with saying, well, are you, or, paraphrasing, are you going to buy my stuff? And I said,
Oh,
well, we literally only went on a first date, so to speak. We had a meeting, and then somebody said, well, I don't want to waste my time and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like, well, you just did, because, and now if you're not the right fit for me, I'm certainly not going to speak to my friend Terilee or other people I know about you, because what you did, you wanted to rush into something before we'd had a dialogue, before we'd had that ebb and flow. So it's about trusting the process, and also trusting the process that even if somebody is looking for something that perhaps you offer and you have a chat and you might not be the right fit, trusting the process that you can recommend somebody else. It feels awful because we naturally don't want to give up on opportunities. But if we shoehorn ourselves into something that's not right for us, and that's whether we're a speaker or whatever, even as a voiceover, I can tell you, when we had our very first event, we had an event called Own Your Stage, which you spoke at, our last one in May, which was delightful, all around the business of speaking, the specificity of the speaking business, telling your hero's journey, selling from the stage. What does your TEDx talk look like? A plethora of different topics. The very first time we ran it, we had lots of speakers saying, can we come and speak on your stage? And we had to say, no, we love you. You're brilliant, but you're a LinkedIn expert and it's not right for what we're talking about. You're somebody that is an expert on the menopause. It's not a right fit for you. There will be other events that come along that will be, but having you in that event where the specificity is so important, you're just going to you're going to stand out for the wrong reasons, because it's going to be, how does this make sense to what we're talking about? And, what were they thinking about putting on a speaker on like that? So we're doing you a disservice and you're doing yourself a disservice. And as a voiceover, I'm British. I'm not one size fits all. If somebody needs an American voiceover, I'd rather speak to my counterpart, if you like, a lady who's in the same demographic as me, who's in America, in the US, and say, it's not me. Can I put you in touch with Pat? Because she's going to give you an authentic US voice. And even though this is a lovely e-learning project that I would love to do, many modules, great stuff, they don't want a Brit. They want somebody from the US.
Yeah.
So when I hand that over and say, let me introduce you to Pat will introduce somebody to me later on and say, I'm in the US, you need a Brit, that's Jennie. Trust the process. You have to trust the process.
Trusting the process. That's awesome. That's awesome. As we move into a time where I would love to have you be sharing what you're up to in the world. I am just really grateful to have you in my life. Jennie and her husband make a great team. Her husband is Steve, and they are people that I admire and respect, and very much just want to encourage all the people that are all the speakers in my world to connect with them. They are people that can totally help you get the word out about what you're doing in various ways. So as we go to talk about the various ways, for anyone watching right now, I actually put these links in the comment, in the post, not in the comments. So you'll be able to find them to connect with Jennie. So Jennie, let's talk about what you all are up to at Eventraptor and Speaker Connections, and I'll let you share in whatever order you'd like.
Sure. Well, to kick off, Eventraptor we are a husband and wife duo, as you quite rightly say, and we created Eventraptor 2.5 years ago, which in a nutshell is to help people who want to run virtual events and feel challenged by all the moving parts, because there are a lot when you think about, speaker bios and landing pages. And I always call it herding kittens, which I think is a good analogy. If you think about kittens all heading off in a different direction, then that's a good analogy. That's what we help people with a CRM system built in and integrated AI. So helping people, often when people are speakers or they want to write about something, they've got all these ideas in their head, but can't necessarily get everything out. So things like the AI helps people in terms of getting the good stuff out and honing and shaping and being out there, getting out there, put your teeth in, Jennie, getting out there to speak. So that's what Eventraptor is. We have a free speaker directory. So anybody who is a speaker can create a profile in our speaker directory. And we have many people who go into the speaker directory looking for speakers for their events. We have events on our platform, but also we have podcasters and people that do live streams looking for speakers. You can search by category and you can reach out to somebody and connect with them there. And, you know, very, very quickly, when we launched the speaker directory, which was intended actually for Eventraptor clients, we had people coming to us and saying, "Ooh, I'm in your speaker directory and somebody who's got a podcast has just asked me, ooh, would you come and speak on our podcast? Is that okay?" And we said, well, yeah, as if somebody found you via us and it's a good fit for you, then yes, absolutely. And, you know, we had no idea how that started, but we have lots of people doing that. And then from the very first Own Your Stage that we ran last year, we gave away a VIP gift for people that took up a VIP option, and ours was a bit of a networking meeting. We thought, well, we'll help people talk about, you know, different places they can speak, event organizers, different things they can do for speakers, and that morphed into our own networking meeting. So Speaker Connections, going back to that specificity again, is all about speakers and event hosts. So it's not a general networking meeting. We say to people, if you are a speaker, come along, and not necessarily a keynote speaker that can speak, you know, eloquently for 60 minutes. Somebody that can do this can, you know, be a great guest in terms of being interviewed, that can impart their knowledge and wisdom, but need the, you know, prompts of somebody to ask them. So if you speak about what you do, come along. And if you're an event host of anything, come along. So whether you're running a summit or you've got a masterclass coming up, or you have a podcast or whatever, come along. And in the spirit of helping speakers find more places to speak and event hosts find more speakers and guests, we have Speaker Connections. So we say to people, it's free to come along. And it's a community event in as much as it's a serving opportunity, not a selling opportunity. We want you to focus on you, what it is you do, who it is you serve, what it is you are looking for. You won't get the opportunity to tell people how you do what you do. That's a continued conversation, and that's why we get people to share their details. But you can share what you speak about and what you're looking for. And if you're an event host, you can share what you have in terms of an opportunity and what you're looking for in terms of a speaker or a guest. And we say to people, put your details in the chat, go off and have conversations after you've had that opportunity to speak. It's not about selling your course. I've got a 6-week course coming up. It's not about telling people how you do what you do. It's an opportunity to communicate, connect, and then have a continued conversation. And typically we get around 80 odd people from about 12, 15 different countries come along, making global connections, which ties in very nicely to what we very first started with, which is we have an amazing opportunity now to press a button and show up all over the world. What we speak about doesn't necessarily is not just in the US that it's important, or the UK or whatever. Things that we speak about are global. And if you have the opportunity to do that, to share your wisdom, your knowledge with people all around the world, why wouldn't you? So that's what we hope, that we play our small part in people being able to do that.
I think you play a big part in people being able to do that. So I wholeheartedly am happy to introduce people that I know to you all. So it's been great having an opportunity to chat with you for a few minutes, especially about networking. I love to chat about building relationships the right way, and you certainly are sharing some of the right things. Now, in the post above is Jennie's email, and I know Jennie would love to connect with any of you who would be interested in getting to know her better and checking out more about what she and Steve offer. And so you can find her on social media, connect with her via email. And Jennie, thank you for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I hope there's some nuggets there that people can use and move forward with their networking and their messaging.
I know there are. So I thank Jennie, and I want to thank everyone who is watching, whether live or on the replay here, I want to just give you all a reminder that if you've not yet joined our free group at Supporting Speakers, it's Supporting Speakers everywhere, and you can join at supportingspeakers.group. We would love to connect with you and collaborate with you. So thank you to Jennie. Thank you to everyone. And we'll see you next time here at Supporting Speakers Live. Everyone have a great day. Bye.